Football is awesome. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Friday Night Roots. I'm your host, Justin Thomas. Do me a huge favor before we jump in. Like the video, share the video with your friends, and subscribe if you can. Appreciate all the love I can give, or all the love I can get. So appreciate that, and let's do it. I know it's been a few days since I've uploaded a video. It seems like every day I've kind of the days off where things are a little slower in the NFL. I've kind of started to try and think of ideas, but I haven't been that successful at it. And to be honest, I don't want to come on here and kind of record a bullshit video of just me talking about regurgitated information that I'm hearing throughout the day. So if I don't upload a video, sorry. I know like I was pretty good at the beginning, a video every day, and I would still like to do a video every day. Assuming the knowledge is good enough, I'll get better and more creative as time goes on. But like I said, I do have a day job. It keeps me very busy. So I'll try and upload as many videos as I can and stay caught up and with all the good information. So still love the sport. Just we're kind of in that weird spot now. Super Bowl week's here. I think things will start to pick up a little bit, and then once post Super Bowl, that's when all the really exciting stuff happens, where I'll have a lot of good comments to talk about. So yeah, super excited. So anyway, today, let's talk some football. I wanted to jump in and really touch on two subjects today. Two big subjects today that I thought were super important, stuff that were really interesting and exciting. So today I want to talk about Myles Garrett officially requesting a trade from the Cleveland Browns. And then I also wanted to talk about, Raiders hiring offensive coordinator Chip Kelly. So yeah, just huge moves in the NFL today. I just kind of wanted to see what that would lead to. So anyway, let's see what that leads to, give my thoughts on it, and let's jump into it. So let's talk some ball. Myles Garrett requested trade from the Cleveland Browns, right? They asked him, they do want, he did request it and does want it done before the 2025 NFL season. And he kind of released this Instagram statement. I'm not going to read the whole exact thing to you, but exactly kind of why every kid dreams of playing in the NFL and getting to the highest stage at the highest level. He said he wants to win a Super Bowl. That's his ultimate goal, not just to win, but he wants to win a Super Bowl. And he even said in his statement, like, listen, I love the Cleveland Browns. I love the Ohio, the Northern Ohio area. I love everyone in the Browns community. Even the front office isn't too bad. He said he likes the community he has around him and the teammates he has around him. He said, but that's not what his ultimate goal is. His ultimate goal is to win Super Bowls. And he said, just because of that reason, he wants to explore other options. And I don't blame him. There are really good teams out there that will pay him, and that's the truth. And I almost like to compare him to a Max Crosby on the Las Vegas Raiders. Kind of one of those guys who a sleeping giant, a Bugatti in a trailer park. Kind of one of those guys you're like, damn, like, man, his career is already so legendary. And then you put him on a shitty team, and he kind of just disappears under the radar. I mean, if Max Crosby has already been a Defensive Player of the Year finalist, but imagine if that guy was on like a winning football team. I mean, he could be with another good edge rusher on the other side. I mean, he could already have 3 Defensive Player of the Year trophies. I mean, the guy's got a crazy motor. So I just think it's one of those scenarios where on a decent team that's just not doing it for him. So simple as that. I think it was it seemed like, from the expression, it was an emotional decision. Like I said, he shared that knowledge of that expression of his love for Northeast Ohio and the Browns fan base, and not only that, let's just talk about how much of a god and a titan this guy is on the football field. I mean, he's coming off his 7th consecutive double-digit season, sack season, mind you. He's got like 5 Pro Bowls out of the 7 years. He's 4 first-team All-Pro honors. So, I mean, this guy is decorated. And then the Browns GM actually responded. Andrew Berry has said that they have no intention of trading Garrett and want him to retire as a Brown. That's one of those weird, he wants a trade, but we don't want to trade him kind of a deals. I don't know. Those situations always work out sticky. At the end of the day, though, if they get a player who just simply refuses to play for him, as a team and an organization, there haven't been too many of those situations. But at that point, you got to kind of just trade the guy. Like, do you want a guy in your locker room who's not happy to be there, who doesn't believe in the brass in the front office? I mean, no, you don't. Anyway, in terms of his contract, but there's of course contract implications, right? He's got 2 years left on his $125 million extension. With pretty big, cap hits the next 3 years. We got $20 million in 2025, another $20 million in 2026, and then a $5 million roster bonus. He just has a bonus due in March if he stays on this team. So there's another little bit. That's another $5 million. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how the Browns navigate that. The Browns' recent struggles, though, despite Garrett and his, Myles and his strong individual performance, the Browns have, only made the playoffs twice since he's been there. And last season they were 3-14. And gosh, my overall thoughts on the deal are Myles Garrett, like I said, kind of that comp Max Crosby guy who's just. Myles Garrett's clearly better than Max Crosby and easily one of the top 5 defensive players every single year. But I think he has that similar, kind of aura to him. Well-respected, super high motor, big, strong, fast. Everything every NFL scout just, gleans over and gets super excited over. It just sucks that he's on the Cleveland Browns. And given the Cleveland Browns quarterback situation with Deshaun Watson and, just kind of the shit that's, I think Myles Garrett's been kind of drugged through the mud in a sense, not in a bad way, hey, there's all this chaos and drama around his franchise, but he's kind of the star of the show on the field. So why is all this fandom and all this attention, all this media drama tied to Deshaun and the coaching staff and then the quarterback situation with Jameis Winston taking over this year? I don't know. I feel like Myles Garrett would be served. My personal opinion is he will do better and be served on a different team. I think he'll excel on a different team. And same thing with Max Crosby. I know the Raiders are in a really exciting rebuilding time, but listen, if Max Crosby similar, but not. Max Crosby has no more guaranteed money left on his deal. If I'm Max and I know their Raiders in this strong rebuild, do you stick with it? Do you try and make it work and become a forever Raider, or did you move on and try and get on a winning franchise at least the second half of your career and maybe make a play for the Super Bowl? I think it comes down to what these players' driving factor and driving motivation is. If I'm a player who's just fighting for money, I mean, you can stay in the same team and just make hundreds of millions off them in a Myles Garrett situation. If Myles Garrett ever said, hey, I want to stay here and you just need to pay me this much, they're going to write that check, right? He's that good. And same thing with Max. They're going to write that check. But the question is if I'm Max or if I'm Myles, is it the money or the legacy you kind of want more? And that's the modern NFL battle. And I think some players, a lot of them actually, are just there for the money. I don't think they even give shit about the Super Bowl. It's well, if I can stay in the NFL for 10 years and I'll make this amount of money, I'm good. My family will never have to worry. I'll never have to stress about finances as long as I spend my money right. You can make a very lucrative career in the NFL just playing the money side of things. Not that I think Kirk Cousins is wired that way, but he's a great example. He's made more money than Tom Brady ever did in the NFL, and he's won one playoff game in his career. So just little stuff like that to think about. Anyway, not surprised Myles Garrett's doing it. I predict that we could see a Max Crosby follow that. Dude's just a hell of a fucking ball player. So good, so dynamic, so fast. So, see him without a shot. Dude is just so strong. So, super excited to see that. And, let's jump into the next topic. Raiders hire Chip Kelly. I promise you, I'm even a Niners fan. I promise you this is not a Raiders channel, but just all the moves the Raiders have been making, all the adjustments they've been making. I actually have admired them because, like I said, my mom's a Raiders fan, and I've watched the Raiders for so many years make stupid decisions, make poor decisions, be led by poor ownership. I think it's exciting to see the Raiders actually do some positive and decisions I don't disagree with. So Raiders hire OC Chip Kelly. As a Niners fan, I know Chip Kelly really, really well, but we'll kind of jump into that, and so let's do that. Chip Kelly returns to the NFL, right? So hired as OC. He will now be under Pete Carroll, the highest paid. One more time, the highest paid offensive coordinator in the NFL, or just coordinator in general, highest paid coordinator, offensive or defensive, at $6 million per year, which is the highest by probably a mile. I think coordinators nowadays are making, a newer coordinator's making just, $1 million or $2 million to $3 million. A seasoned, really good coordinator can make anywhere from I'd say 4 to 8 million, and then there's like one. I think Spagnuolo's at like not, or no, he's not. No, Spagnuolo's is like 5. So, even the highest paid coordinators, probably 3 to 5, right? Those are your higher end coordinators, and then your coaches, your coaches are anywhere from nowadays, it seems like, 7, 8 for a brand new coach, all the way up to 13 for Ben Johnson. So, he'll be the highest paid coordinator. I don't know if I'd make him the highest paid if I was the Las Vegas Raiders, given his history with the NFL, but but dude's a football guy. He's a football coach. For those who remember the OG Chip Kelly back when he was at University of Oregon with DeAnthony Thomas and LaMichael James, two of the best runners, fastest runners to come out of college football at the time. I mean, he's the one who really, really, really turnkeyed the University of Oregon program with Nike and kind of made it this big. He started that spread West Coast offense and ran it so well while he was there. So, the guy's got his mark made in the game of football, and, obviously he's a great college coach, great college coordinator, just won the Natty as the OC for Ohio State. So, interesting to see. I love the hire. He previously served in the NFL as the Philly Eagles head coach right after Andy Reid. I think he was right after Andy Reid. Fact check me on that. And then he also served as my coach at the 49ers. Didn't work out, obviously. So, he did lead the Eagles, though. When he was at the Eagles, he led them to, a top five offense in points and yards per game in 2013 and 2014. Howie Roseman and that whole Eagles organization is pretty cutthroat. You don't win in the postseason, you basically don't stay. So that's kind of how it works. But at the Niners, oh man, I hate even talking about it, but when he was a coach of the Niners, he struggled, finishing 27th in points and 32nd in yards in his only season before Jed York gave him the boot. Said, "Hey man, this just isn't working. Sorry, but move on." So overall in the NFL, he was under 500. He went 28 and 35 as a head coach across 4 seasons. But the positive, right? Like what I just touched on, being such a huge name in college, 46 and 7 at Oregon, and then he coached 7 years at UCLA, 35 and 34, so just over 500. He was a coordinator, obviously, in this national championship. So the guy's got the rap sheet. He's got the resume, a better resume than probably half of these young starting coaches in the NFL. I mean, he's got it. The difference is the NFL is just a different beast. It's not college. You don't get to pick from 200 kids. You get to pick from 53 guys, and that's whatever the GM gives you. You got to work with. So there's just little caveats, but at least I like that he's not in a head coaching position, because head coaches, like I've said before, they have to deal with all the media and all the extra ins and outs and the waviness of the bullshit and the on and off the field stuff. But as a coordinator, he just gets to coach ball. He doesn't need to have that. Of course, he needs to be a leader, but he doesn't need to be that front man, that PR guy that a head coach needs to be. All he needs to do is just call the plays and coach football, kind of like Cliff Kingsbury. That's why I love Cliff at the Commanders in Washington. I think it's a great fit. But this will be, ironically enough, his first coordinator job. So it's weird that he kind of went straight from college to head coach in the NFL. But given his success in college at Oregon, I mean, everyone in the whole world was looking to hire Chip Kelly back then, I remember. So obviously this is a highly anticipated, return, and after a long absence from the league. So yeah, it'll kind of be interesting to see. Like I said, I've really loved what the Raiders have done lately. John Spytek, the new GM who knew Tom and worked closely with the Michigan program. And then you've got Pete Carroll, who I love. I wouldn't say I love. I respect being a Niner guy who had to play him and play all those good Seahawks teams in the early 2010s, 2010 all the way up to 2016, 2015 there. So, I have a lot of respect for Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's got a crazier resume than probably every coach in the NFL at this point, other than probably Andy Reid and maybe Bill. But everyone else is, he's got a wicked resume. I don't know. And Chip Kelly's OC, like, these are all big in-house names that I think the Raiders could make a splash if they do it correctly. So as a Niners fan, I'm actually excited for the Raiders. Let's see how they can correct this and get it all back on track and keep moving. So that's all I kind of wanted to touch on today. Do me a huge favor before you leave. Like the video if you can. Share it with your friends and subscribe to the YouTube. Appreciate all the love I can get. And as always, let's talk some football. Love you.